Hard-hitting sports in your face. So, first of all, let me start this video off by prefacing and saying that whoever I pick in this game, you should definitely take the other team. I have been absolutely awful in these playoffs as far as my predictions. They are going to be terrible, but I'm going to try it 4 more times um, and going into the Super Bowl. I just like um, talking about the game. It just this NFC side of football to me has been great. The Eagles winning, the Vikings pulling it out, even with Case Keenum. Even when I thought Case Keenum had thrown the game away against a great quarterback like Drew Brees, for them to get the game the way that they got that game was absolutely amazing. First of all, guys, if you're not following me on Twitter, make sure you follow me on Twitter. My Twitter handle is @Casuwell, @KASUWELL. That is my Twitter handle. So let's dive right into this game. You have the Eagles, you have the Vikings. So I guess I will start. I will start from the secondaries. Let's start with the secondary versus secondary. You have the Eagles secondary and you have the Vikings secondary. I think the Vikings have the best cornerback in football as of right now, and Trey Waynes has been no slouch. The Vikings also have they have Harrison Smith back there, they have Sendeo back there, and I think the Vikings have the better secondary. Linebackers, and I'm not very familiar with the Vikings linebackers. So I have to admit that I'm not very familiar. I know who Anthony Barr is, but I don't know the rest of the Vikings linebackers. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to skip over the linebackers and go to the D line. The D line, without question, to me, has to go to the Philadelphia Eagles. I think the Philadelphia Eagles have one of the better D lines, especially interior D lines in all of football. And I know the Vikings are very good with Everson Griffin in that D line, but I think the Eagles have the edge when it comes to D line. Going over to offensive line, uh, that's a tough one as well because I think both of these guys have some good pieces on their offensive line, but I kind of have to lean towards the Eagles as far as the offensive line is concerned. Um, I think the Eagles have. Wait a minute, I could be wrong on that because I'm like I say these both neither one of these teams I watch a lot of. So if there is something going on with both of these teams, it has to stick out to me. Like the Eagles' defensive line sticks out to me, and I've gotten an opportunity to watch the Vikings D line, so I know how good the Vikings D line is, but I still favor the Eagles D line. Um, I have to go with the like I said, I have to go with the Eagles offensive line. As far as quarterbacks are concerned, um, Case Keenum has started the entire season. I think the body of work as far as this season is concerned, I have to go with Case Keenum. Um, Nick Foles last week, well, it's going to be last week when we head to the NFC Championship. Nick Foles didn't have the greatest of games. So um, it's almost a toss with both of these guys. Just the Case Keenum story is fucking amazing, though. That is an amazing story to be a guy who bounced around to 3 different teams to end up in this spot right now is amazing for me to look at Case Keenum and go, wow, this guy was a fucking scrub. What was he with the Rams last year with golf and I mean didn't look great there, and here he is now, 1 game away from the Super Bowl. Absolutely amazing. As far as the running backs are concerned, this is a really hard one. Um, you have the Eagles running. Well, actually, the Eagles have Jay Ajayi, they have Blunt, and then they have that Clement kid. Whereas the Vikings have the kid that they picked up from the Raiders. I got to go with the Eagles. I think the Eagles have the better running backs with Blunt and J Train, Jay Ajayi. Wide receivers, that's a tough one as well. That freaking Adam Thielen kid is a beast. Diggs is a beast. Rudolph is a beast. But on the other side, you have Alshon Jeffrey, you have Smith, you have those tight ends. I'm gonna leave that one as a toss. That's a toss to me. Coaching, you have that's another good one. So this game to me is gonna be super close, and I really don't know. There really isn't to me that huge clear advantage. This one could be an absolute nail biter. I think this game right here has the potential to be better than the Super Bowl because there's so many factors. There's so many things that I mean the only clear advantage to me for Minnesota would be in the secondary. The only clear advantage for the Eagles for me, well, and it's the the Minnesota Vikings have a bigger advantage over the Eagles secondary than the Eagles D line has over the Vikings D line. Like there's a clear cut separation between the Vikings secondary and the Eagles secondary. Whereas it's real close. I mean, depending on who you ask, as far as the D lines of those teams. Um, I'm gonna go. Whew, I'm gonna ride the hot hand, and I'm gonna go with the Minnesota Vikings, which probably means the Eagles are gonna win this shit. But I'm gonna go with the Minnesota. What the hell? I'm gonna go with the Minnesota Vikings to take this game and knock off the Philadelphia Eagles. And I will make this game. Let's go 2017. 20-17 as the Minnesota Vikings advance to the Super Bowl. All right. So that is my NFC championship game prediction. I will be right back with my AFC game prediction.